Hello Capricorn, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Capricorn is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Capricorn, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we start with the Queen of Swords. This is a very objective energy. I feel like you're somebody that's kind of like, you're very good at taking a step back from things and trying to get a more clear assessment, trying to get a bird's eye view of a situation. So it could be that you're like, it's a very emotional situation that you're in, you know? There's a lot of turmoil, there's a lot of moving parts, there's a lot of complications. You have this ability right now to take a step back and breathe, you know, and look at something for what it really truly is to find clarity. Okay? You've got a chance to be very emotionally mature right now and be discerning, seeing your situation without illusion. Okay? You got to make decisions right now that are going to protect your emotional well-being. Okay, so maybe taking a step back, being a little bit objective, looking at the situation for what it really truly is, and making a very wise decision, okay? Let's put this card into a little bit of context, and let's see what's going on for you right now in your life. 10 of Swords, Queen of Pentacles, a Knight of Pentacles, a 4 of Pentacles, and more Pentacles. Ooh, no, but a 3 of Cups, even better. Very nice. This could be a situation regarding money or even like a domestic kind of living situation thing going on. Here we have a 3 of Pentacles now. And we have the Art or Temperance card. We have a Queen, another Queen. Holy smokes. 1, 2, 3 Queens. And the Hierophant. Okay. Yeah, I feel that there is a decision that you have to make, and it kind of is the way that you're kind of going through like an ending. Something's ending in your life, okay? And I think you're trying to get that bird's eye view in order to understand why something needs to end. Coming to grips with it and looking at it objectively and at least saying, if it's not ending, it's changing its nature, okay? It's a situation that you are getting that bird's eye view and thinking, it can't remain how it is. Something's got to change. Okay? Well, especially we have a 4. Anytime you get a 4, you start looking around for the 5. Okay? It's kind of implying that something's been stuck in a little box. It's got to change. Can't keep doing the same thing we've been doing. Okay? So your situation has to change, and I feel like there might be a lot of other people involved. I don't know if you live with a lot of people, or if there are kind of a lot of, maybe it's people at the workplace or at school, or maybe it's friends. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set this down right over here with Ellie and Simon Mork Ripley right there on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card is, put your prediction in the comments below the video, okay, in that little box. Let's look around the room, because we see the 2 majors, okay, the Temperance card and the Hierophant card. I kind of feel like with the Temperance card, I feel like there's this attempt to blend your energies with somebody, trying to mesh with something or someone, trying to fit into the situation, trying to blend in, The Hierophant is kind of like saying, I'm not blending in anymore. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to blend in just to make things okay. I'm not going to just smooth it over and pretend it didn't happen. This is you kind of standing in your own wisdom, your own power, standing in your own truth, yeah, rather than trying to blend in just to kind of smooth things over, yeah. Anyway, so I like these two cards that we have here. We don't have any fire. I think maybe the fire is kind of what we're in need of, yeah. We need a little bit of oomph. We need a little bit of drive. We need a little bit of, we got to get fired up, you know. Maybe it's like we got to get a little mad here, yeah. It's not a time for passive energy. There's too much earth and too much of the water. Really a lot of earth. Even the Hierophant is earth energy, yeah. And then, of course, there's air and there's water and there's earth. So we have those elements, but we don't have the fire. We don't have the impulse. We don't have the drive that just kind of says like, okay, I'm activating now, you know. And maybe that's okay because we start with the Queen of Swords who's getting that objective viewpoint. Maybe it's like, before you do anything, take a step back from all your emotions and try to look at something objectively. Look at it for what it is. Get a proper accounting of the situation. Use your clarity, use your discernment, be emotionally mature. Okay, you're seeing your situation now without illusion. You got to trust in that. Make decisions that are going to protect your emotional well-being. Okay? It's not a time for a lot of words. It's small words, short sentences, minimal syllables, so it's very easy to understand. You know what I mean? And maybe that's silly, but you're speaking very clearly. You don't want there to be any misunderstandings here. I feel like this is you getting some distance from something, taking some space in order to regain your perspective on something. Okay? You got to have boundaries. You got to have standards. I think the Hierophant has their standards. The Hierophant knows what their level of quality, what their expectations are. And I wonder if the Temperance card is you like lowering your expectations or lowering your standards. I wonder if this is going to be one of those readings where we talk about the difference between expectations and standards. You know, that we have very high standards, but what are your expectations? Maybe they're not the same. Maybe your expectations are low. My standards are up here, but my expectations are down here. And very few people are going to are going to meet my standards. You know, but you're not expecting them to. Yeah. So the difference between what we expect from other people and our standard, or what we kind of, like the Hierophant, what we determine for ourselves is the level of quality that we're after, the standard, the sacred quality of our lives, and that sort of gives us that inner truth or inner authority to determine what we're going to put up with and what we're not going to put up with. I feel like you're a person with very high standards and very low expectations. And you're looking at a situation now and you're just saying like, I got to honor my standards. You know, the Queen of Swords here. Your standards, you've earned them through your experiences of life. This isn't you being cold or heartless. It's about you being honest and being very clear about what you want in your life and what you don't. Choose what aligns with your truth, with your standards, even if other people don't understand. You do not have to resonate with anyone. You do not have to blend your energy with anybody. You don't have to lower your standards in order to get along with other people. You don't have to lower maybe your expectations are up here too, I don't know. But you don't have to like lower that standard just to make something work. Okay? This is you choosing truth. Yeah. And of course we've got the 10 now. Very sort of clear message here too. Something is ending. Something is not providing you any kind of nourishment any longer. And it's sometimes difficult to acknowledge this. This is an ending. This is a release of something. Something's over. And accepting that fact is going to bring you a lot of relief. Now, this doesn't mean that the relationship is over, but there's some sort of, the structure of it needs to be torn down, and we need to redo it. So it's kind of like you're building a house, right? And you get to a certain point in the house where you just realize that this is not going to work. It's not going to stand up. It's not going to pass inspection or whatever, right? Or it's unsafe. So what do? Well, you don't just say, well, I give up on building a house. I'm going to go dig a ditch or something instead. No, you're still going to build the house. You're not giving up on the dream. But you're tearing down that house and saying, I got to redo it. I got to start from scratch now. I got to make a new outline. I got to sketch it all out all over again. You're still going to do it. But you're going to have to do it differently now. Okay? You're not going to try to revive something that's basically already ended. You're letting this one go, but you're not letting the dream go. Okay? The Ten of Swords is a clearing. It's sort of we got to take all the Legos apart, put them back in the box, and then we're going to try again. And then we're going to get all the Legos back out, and we're going to try to build that spaceship again, But see, when this ends and when we recognize that this didn't work, this is a dry hole, it's a dry and desiccated situation, there's no more juice left in it. There's no more juice. I keep squeezing it, nothing's coming out. Doesn't mean I'm going to give up on making my lemonade. It means I need to toss this one into the compost pile of the death card, right? And I need to get a new orange or lemon. I don't know. I forgot what we're making. We're making an orange lemonade. And then we're going to get a new one, and we're going to squeeze that one. So we're closing a chapter, and there's a rebirth energy that's taking place now because you are protecting your well-being, your standards. And you're saying this thing that we built wasn't up to my code, right? The Hierophant is the building inspector, right? And if it's not up to code, what do? You fix it. Well, what if it can't be fixed? What if it costs too much or if it's not worth it to fix it? Well, that's probably what you're getting, this higher perspective. This is why you're taking a step back and you're thinking, is this worth me trying to fix what isn't working? Or should I just kind of take this one down and just, start from square one again, start from the bottom? And the Ten of Swords is saying it's kind of cheaper to start from the bottom. As far as your resources go, we may be talking about money. Sure, there's a lot of earth cards here. We may be talking about time, effort, energy, money, or space. It would take less time or less mental energy, emotional energy, or spiritual energy, or physical energy for you to be done with this and start again. The message is pretty clear. Closing this chapter and getting ready for that rebirth. We're going to begin again. Okay? So it's not, again, we're not giving up on the dream. We're just saying this particular structure, this plan, or this system, or this relationship, or this circumstance, this situation is not up to my code. Therefore, it's coming down. I'm doing a new one. I'm going to start again. This next one's going to be up to code, right? So the queens are always looking at the past. The queen, or processing an ending, I guess we should say in this case. So the Queen of Swords is processing this ending and really coming to an intellectual understanding of why something has to end. Doing the math. Doing the math and saying, by my calculations, it's going to be cheaper for me to just scrap it and start over. Okay, the math, yeah, checks out. Okay, good. Now, Queen of Pentacles is down here learning from that past, trying to reclaim all of the old, can I reuse that lumber kind of thing. Okay? The Queen of Wands looking at the long and winding road that it took for you to get where you are right now and thinking, okay, because, there's a lot of effort already put into something. And so now we're looking at that long and winding road and thinking, do I got to travel that entire road again? No, I don't think that you do. Because I think that you've figured out a way to sort of streamline that part of the process. You've already been down that road. So you don't need to go down that road again. In other words, there's a wisdom gained through the experience. Okay? This card is nourishment. It's about home. It's about resourcefulness. And it is about that embodied wisdom. Okay? This is maybe the physical or financial care. Okay? You're putting in you're putting in a lot of effort to maintain your space. It's a very physical card, obviously, right? So we're talking like, the meals that we're eating. We're cleaning our space. It's finances. And it's, again, with the emotional boundaries. Okay? You're supporting and you're grounding your energy, and you're clearing out that space and getting ready, preparing the soil now to begin again. You're making decisions that are going to protect your well-being. They're just like all the queens are doing that, setting boundaries, making decisions. Okay? You're stabilizing. And you're going to start building now something that feels nourishing. And so you're understanding now of the past, processing this ending, and realizing what the cost was. Time, effort, energy, money, and space that you put into it. And I think knowing that you don't have to go through the entire process again, that there's some things that can be perhaps like reused or recycled. And also I think having that kind of learning, understanding the past so that we don't repeat the same mistakes again. Looking at that long and winding road and realizing that now we've learned something and we can make new decisions. We can make different decisions, make different choices as we rebuild something. Okay? So kind of like appreciating the path that we took, the twists and turns, the ups and downs of where we've been, because of the wisdom that it gave us. And we have now this experience. We know how to manage resources pretty well. I feel like you're very good at managing resources. And I feel that now you're focused on what's going to be better for you and your well-being, physically and financially, making choices that are going to sustain you and nourish you. Okay? Your life is going to become like what you feed it. This 10 of Swords is a situation that there's no meat on the bones. This isn't feeding you anything. This is just empty. This is like you're eating air. It's your stomach's still grumbling, There's no meat on the bones. Okay. Your life is going to become what you feed it. You've got to feed it something that is up to your standard, that's up to your code. You're taking care of your body, taking care of your space. Because you understand the importance of environment too. I think you're somebody that needs to have a supportive and nourishing environment. Like, I don't know, I wonder if this is really about the home and like where you live and like your living situation. Let's talk about our Knight of Pentacles. The Knights are looking into the future. And looking into the future and seeing the spiral road up the mountain. The long and winding road of twists and turns and ups and downs, which is the same. Both of these are looking at the same thing. The Knight is looking at the future of that long and winding road. The Queen is looking down the mountain at that long and winding road right back. They're kind of looking at each other. One's down below, one's up top on the mountain already. One's at the beginning, one's at the end of the path. So this is at the end of the path, trying to take an assessment of the road. When you get to the top of the mountain, you kind of look back down at where you came from and you just sort of like process that whole experience. That's kind of what the Queen is doing. The Knight is looking up at the mountain and sort of anticipating the journey. And so I kind of feel that like there's the beginning and there's the end of a path for you, and you're at the end of it now. There's nothing else for you to gain from this situation. So now it's about processing everything and getting ready for what's next. Okay? This is a card of stability and leadership. This is, long-term thinking. And in a way, you're sort of, with this card, you were asking, who am I, where am I, and what am I doing at the end of this road? Well, that's kind of where you are now. You're at the end of the road now, somewhere. So you can ask yourself, who am I, where am I, and what am I doing now? Okay? And is this what I want to keep doing? Or do I need to set out on a new journey? I think that once you realize that something's no longer nourishing for you, that there's nothing left in this situation of any value to you, it's not up to your standards, it's not up to code for you, right? Then I think it opens up that doorway for us to do something that is going to be more prosperous. You're making financial and life choices that are going to benefit your future self. Okay? And now the situation is no longer benefiting you. So we have to change course. Anytime we get a 4, we start looking for a 5. But you don't have anything to prove to anybody. You don't owe anybody any explanations. You don't have to justify it or defend your choices or this decision that you're making to end something. I feel like you're the one ending it, whatever it is, because it's not up to your standard. You don't have to explain that. Okay. Your work is still meaningful. You still have this long-term goal in mind. This is just one chapter or one phase of this longer arc that's ending. It doesn't mean the dream is over. It means what you're doing now is no longer meeting your quality standards. You're doing like a QA of your life, But you still have this long arc toward the Hierophant, which is, of course, you living that life that is up to code. I don't know how else to put it. Okay. You need to have patience. Just keep building. Have grounded confidence. And you're going to continue to create stability. And it may feel like you are now at the base of the mountain again, looking back up to the top and thinking, how am I going to get to the top of the mountain now? Okay, you're not going to have to, it's not going to be as difficult this time because you've already went up a particular path, even though maybe it didn't lead to the goal you wanted. But you've got so much more mountain climbing experience now that it's like it's going to be way easier to do it a second time, even if you're taking a different road. You're becoming like an expert mountain climber. You know what I mean? So you have all of that wisdom and experience under your belt. It's going to make the journey a lot easier. Maybe something financial. Maybe even something as in terms of your diet and exercise, your physical fitness. Okay. The 4 of Pentacles that we see up here, this is stability. Safety, security, stability, boundaries, structure. Okay. This is the foundation of what you built. I feel that no matter how many times we get up to the mountain and we get like a 10 of swords or something, there's always like something that we have gained from it. Even though now there's no juice left, there's no more meat on the bones, you've already used everything that you could use. Okay? This is a card of financial and emotional boundaries. Again, we've got that sort of standard of quality. We've got this very, I think, well-defined code that we want to live by, and that we want to standardize our life in a certain way. Okay, but to me, this feels like something's boxing us in, maybe. Or it could be that we've gotten to the end of this particular path, or we have completed a particular plan in our life. And it's feeling now like the room's getting too small. like you've already filled the shoes and now your toes are starting to pop out the ends of the shoes. It's time to get bigger shoes. It's time to expand something, you know. It's time to kind of think of how we might innovate. The 4 is very good, but the 4 is now it's repeating too much. It's too much of the same. Nothing changes if nothing changes, okay? It may feel solid, it may feel secure, but it's a temporary stability. Really, the 4s of the tarot are lessons in impermanence. If we just stay where we are now and think, this is great, very soon we'll realize that we've kind of sold ourselves short. Especially with that Temperance card, I feel like you're trying very hard to blend into something that feels not like it doesn't fit you. It's not up to your standard. It's not up to your code. It doesn't really, truly resonate with what you want in your life. This is the life you created, but I think you're realizing that I'm not satisfied with just this. I need to keep moving. Maybe we thought this was the goal, the summit of the mountain, but now you're realizing, you look up and you think, oh wait, no, I've got more mountain to climb. Okay. Your stability matters, and your resources. This is a good resource management card, you know, and it might be partly this feeling like the situation you're in now is basic needs. You got water, shelter, food, and fire. Okay, cool. Well, we don't have fire. You got water, shelter, food. So it's not a bad gig. But you might be trying to convince yourself, like, I should be happy with this. I should be okay with this. I should just acquiesce and just stay here and just try to figure out a way to just exist in this and make it work. I should try to blend into this. Yeah. But I feel like there's something in you that's resisting that. Because it may be a job, it may be a relationship, it may be a living situation where we feel like, I should just be happy here. I've got a roof over my head, I've got 4 walls around me, and I got something to eat. I should be satisfied, right? But this is like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Once you get your basic needs met, then you can look up and you realize you have more things to do, more things you want, more things you need. And so this might be a situation where, sure, it's paying the bills, but there's so much more that you want in life. Or it's a relationship that it's like, well, at least they're not cheating on me, or at least they're helping me pay the rent or something like this. But yeah, is that enough though? Is that the measurement of quality for you? I don't believe that it is. Okay. So that's kind of where we are right now. Going forward, 3 of Cups, I feel like you have to really speak up about what you want in life. I think that you have to be willing to follow your heart. Yeah, this is a card of community and joy and support and friendship and love and seeking out the things that your heart desired. The 3 of Pentacles and the 3 of Cups too are potentials. Okay, that you have such a capacity to love. But this is a situation where there isn't the fulfillment of that potential. You get a 10 of Swords, not a 10 of Cups. Right? There's no moisture here. It's dry and desiccated. You have so much more love to give that the situation you're in now is really kind of like, it's restricting your fulfillment. It's not a situation that's conducive to you fulfilling your potential. Yeah, and maybe it's a romance. Maybe this is a romantic situation, but it's like, I should be happy because it's a stable relationship. Yeah, but it's not really allowing you to fulfill this capacity that you have. So this is you really seeking out those things in life that are going to fulfill you. You're looking up the mountain and you're thinking, I got more mountain to climb. Okay. This is the card of living, laughing, and loving. And you've got more of that to do. And I think that that Ten of Swords is really about you not just being complacent, not settling for less, not selling yourself short, really truly recognizing the Ten of Swords is a birdcage. You're recognizing that the birdcage, it may be safe in there, right? You got food, someone brings you some bird seed every couple times a day or whatever. So it's like, I should be happy in the birdcage, right? But no, your wings are clipped. You're not a bird in a cage and, isn't singing their song. You realize that life outside the birdcage is, well, it's riskier now. You're going to have to climb the mountain more. You're good at that. You know how to do that already. But there's so much more potential out there for love, for fulfillment. Your birdcage is not up to code, so we're going to tear it down, and you're going to go out and you're going to build something else. You're going to build maybe a bigger birdcage for yourself. I don't know. The secret is that life is a series of bird cages all the way out. Once we get out of one, we think we're free, but we realize we're in a bigger bird cage now, and that's okay. Because then we can get to the bars of that bird cage and we can squeeze through and get out of there, and we get into an even bigger bird cage. Bird cages all the way out. But this is the almost fractal nature. The Ten of Swords is the bars of the birdcage, and it's you getting out of the birdcage. We see all these swords are pointed at this little tiny heart in that card. Little tiny heart. Nothing really pierces the heart, though. All these swords miss the heart, and they just end up breaking the tips off of themselves. Okay? So this is a situation that doesn't really get you in the feels. It could be that this is a situation that just misses the mark. This is a relationship, this is the job, this is the friendship, this is the pursuit. This was the plan that you went through with it, and you said, I'm going to do it. And I got to the end of it, and it just didn't hit. Okay, cool. You still gained some experience. Now you realize that I'm not just going to stay here and say, well, I guess this is my life now. No, you're going to go seek out something that will hit, that will fulfill your heart. See, all these little swords did not pierce the heart. They didn't fulfill you. It didn't hit the way you thought it would. It's dry and desiccated. You did all this work and it was a dry hole. Okay, it happens. But you're not done seeking. Okay. Now I want you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know which card on the path of the dove seems to resonate with you the most. Okay? Before we do the path of the serpent, let's do an oracle of manifestation. Here we have the shared journey. Honor your transformation while being open to others on the path. Together we make magic. Okay, together we make magic. Well, see, the Three of Cups, what's the Three of Cups doing? Seeking another Three of Cups. Your capacity for love is seeking something else or someone else that matches with you. The three and the three coming together and making a Six of Cups, right? So the Three of Cups is always seeking its counterpart. It's always realizing that I've got a lot of love to give, and I need to find the right person, place, or thing where I can do that, where I can express that, where I can feel that connection and make that connection. Because right now, in the situation you're in, your poor Three of Cups doesn't have another Three of Cups to match up with. That's maybe this, together we make magic. And it doesn't mean romance. It might. Yeah, it might, but it means love. Whether it's love for the path that you're on, or the work that you're doing, or the friendship, or the art, the music, or the story that you're trying to tell, whatever it could be. It's love of any kind. Anyway, your Three of Pentacles is here, and this is the card of work. You're not afraid of doing the hard work. This is the development of you already built a house, wasn't up to code, you had to tear it down. Guess what? You're really damn good at building houses now. So no experience is wasted. You have a skill that has been developed. You understand the craft. You understand how to build. And you're focusing on that craft. And you're going to build something. This is really like, I'm not rushing through. There's no fire here. I think that's a good thing. Because patience, your skill is growing. You're focusing on the refinement of that skill, not speed. This is you building the house, the life that's up to your standard of quality. I'm not just trying to cut corners and build a house quick. I'm trying to build a house that's up to code, that's got quality, materials, quality, craftsmanship and that sort of thing. Maybe collaboration also could be that you're seeking out the right partner to build with. Okay? The quality of your life is improving because you're not settling for something that's not fulfilling. You're not settling for something that's not up to code. You're not settling for substandard, sub-quality work. It's not up to par. Okay? You're not going to settle for that. So the way you're improving yourself, you're improving your life, you're building a life of quality. And that's really what we're after in the tarot. That's what the magic is all about. Making the magic is causing change, building something. The knights of the tarot are looking at the future and asking, what am I building? What's the future that I'm building? The queen is looking at the past and thinking, what is the present that I built? So the queens are all thinking, what did I do? And the knights are thinking, what am I doing? It's all karma. The knight is thinking, every thought, word, and deed in the present moment is going to create my future. The queens are thinking, every thought, word, and deed from the past has created my present. I am who I am today because of all of my thoughts, words, and deeds. They've led me to the present moment. So it's all karma, you see. And so the Three of Pentacles is us realizing that we've got to keep building. And whenever we build a structure, we have to really be honest about what we think about it. It's like you're building birdhouses in your garage. Every birdhouse you make, you got to really look at it honestly and think, is this good? Do I like it? Well, the first time I tried to build, gingerbread houses. It's that time of year. Every time you build a gingerbread house, you look at it and you think, now, how did I do? Maybe you don't like the way it looks. Maybe it doesn't taste good. It doesn't fulfill you. It doesn't make you happy. You're going to try again. You're going to keep doing it. Every time you build a birdhouse, the quality goes up. If you're just rushing through, then every birdhouse is going to be pretty shabby, right? But you're taking your time because you're trying to get better at it. And so you're going to build it again. And you're going to build it again, and you're learning. And every time you build it, it's closer to your own, sort of standard of quality, your own vision, or what you want your life to be. All of those old birdhouses or bird cages, they're not wastes of time. They're not meaningless. They're the steps upon the path of you refining your sense of quality. See, the Hierophant has the standard of quality. This is the ideal house. This is what it should look like. And then, of course, we're out here building it. And every time we build it, we check in with that standard, and it's not going to ever be perfect. See, that's the thing. It's never going to be exactly the best house matching this high standard of quality. But every time we take a step, it gets a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. We're refining that quality, getting closer to this sort of unobtainable perfection. Yeah. And that's kind of the Three of Pentacles vibe. Trying to continue climbing that mountain and just taking another step, going a little bit higher, a little bit of improvement this time. Yeah. I think that you're someone who is looking for, you're finding ways to not cut corners, not take shortcuts, but to make your work a little bit easier, knowing that you've already been up the mountain once. You've already done a lot of climbing in your life. So you should have some sort of tricks up your sleeve about how to do it a little bit more efficiently. So this is creating systems and frameworks that make your work easier. Mastery, in this case, is repetition done consciously. And that's, well, in a way, that's the transformation, that's the refinement of our temperance card in a little bit of ways here, right? Because the temperance card, to me, is the blacksmith's anvil. That it is through repetition of something, of going, kind of saying, well, you know what, I'm getting back in the fire. I'm gonna, I'm not gonna just settle for this. I'm gonna take the next, the next climb. I'm gonna take the next expedition. I'm gonna go further up the mountain. We're refining ourselves. We're refining our lives. We're refining our tools, our mind, our heart, our body is getting better at doing whatever it is that we do. And we're building a life that is closer to our ideal, closer to our standard of excellence or perfection or the good life or whatever it is. So in that sense, I kind of like the temperance card because it's showing we're willing to get back on the blacksmith's anvil and keep forging ourselves, allowing ourselves to be transformed, and also transforming our lives simultaneously, right? I think this card is also talking about, in a very practical way, you trying to temper yourself, moderate yourself, turn your light down or lower your expectations, lower your standards just to fit in with something. Trying to cram yourself into that birdcage even though you don't fit. So it may be a relationship. This is in the position of your environment or your relationships. It's very Procrustean, right? It's very much you trying to force yourself to fit into a structure that isn't built to your measurements, It's like me trying to put on a pair of pants that just does not fit anymore. And you're going to be very uncomfortable if you try to force it. It's better to just say, I'm wearing sweats today until I go and get a bigger pair of pants. And so it might be a relationship where you feel like you really have to compromise who you are and lower your standards or lower your expectations of life in order for this relationship to work. Well, that seems like it's a pretty dry and desiccated thing. Okay, that feels like a dry hole to me. And so that's the other way that we're looking at that temperance card. Okay. Now, the Queen of Cups is having a little bit of an emotional reaction to this ending. Okay, knowing that the future is going to be more, have more potential for joy and it's going to be more prosperous and more joyous and more delightful, the Queen of Cups is having a difficult time processing the ending of something. Because the queens really are all kind of like, I look at the queens as leaving a movie theater. And each one is having their own reaction to the movie and to the process of leaving the movie theater and going and doing something else with their day, right? Going to go spend the afternoon doing something else. And the Queen of Swords might be walking out of the movie theater really trying to understand the movie, understanding the plot, or what the message was and what the storyline was. When you ever watch a movie that's very confusing, and you kind of the movie's over and you're saying now why did they do that? Why did they have to why did they have to time travel the second time to go back? I don't know. Are they in the past or are they in the future now, or what happened? And then the Queen of Cups is leaving that movie theater thinking, I don't want to leave. That movie moved me in such a strong way. I'm going to be dwelling in this feeling for a long, long time. They must have watched the Minecraft movie or something, right? Good old Jack Black. And it's very difficult to sort of separate ourselves from that emotional energy of what we just experienced. Yeah. Even though it was the Minecraft movie. So the Queen is very emotional, right? But this is an emotional wisdom. This is really that kind of radical self-love and radical self-acceptance and honesty trusting the deeper emotional insight and the intuition. Okay? And I think processing the ending of something, and it just sort of, it's taking you a little bit of time to sort of, to finish that process and to transition back toward looking at the future. That's why we need a little bit of the fire energy. I would love if the mystery card were the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands leaves the movie theater and says, okay, movie's over, good. What's for lunch? What are we doing now? Let's go. I don't care about the movie. The movie was fine and good and fun while I was watching it, but now that it's over, I really don't give two shits about it. Pardon my language. It's a family show. But that's the Queen of Wands. That's her attitude, you know. But the Queen of Cups is like, I'm not even hungry. I need to process this movie. I need to sit in my car and allow myself to feel this feeling before I can drive away into the restaurant, you know. And so it's a lot of a slower, more drawn out process here. But we need to move on from this thing. No matter, you know, and maybe it is taking you a little bit of time, that's okay. Your intuition is guiding you here, okay? And it's the need to process those feelings. And I think once you do, you'll come to understand that, you know, an ending is not a pleasant thing, but that your devotion belongs to your Hierophant, to your standards of quality, to your code, your building code, not your moral code, maybe your moral code, but your building code, okay? That's where your heart really, really, really lies. And so we're ending here with the Hierophant. And, you know, this is a card of wisdom, guidance. It's really your true self, your authentic self, telling you what you really deserve in life. And, you know, the ego is kind of going through all of this other energy. But your higher self is saying, you deserve so much better than that. You deserve more than this. You're letting yourself be guided by that inner wisdom. Okay? Return to your grounding practices, prayer, journaling, reading, meditation, studies, reading holy books and things like this, okay? Ask one clear question of your higher self and listen to the answer. Allow yourself to be taught by this experience. This experience is teaching you something very, very valuable. It's teaching you what you will and will not tolerate or put up with. It's teaching you how much you really do honor your building code. Yeah. You don't need permission from anybody to live your life according to this standard or this code. This is how you want your life to look. This is the life that you want to build. It's got to be up to code. Let's look at the mystery card. Queen of Wands. Come on. Queen of Wands. If you have a prediction, please put it in the comments. Let's see what we have. The Chariot. The Chariot is really getting a move on. The Chariot is like, I got my bags packed, I got my wheels on my chariot, and I'm ready to start going up the mountain again. I'm ready to take the drive. This is momentum, this is determination, this is moving forward. We're moving on. Pick a direction and commit. Protect your path right now. This is fortification. Okay. This is you preparing for movement. Okay. Getting your things ready. It's like you're kind of, you're putting your shoes on, you're waxing the car, you're changing the oil, you're getting ready for a road trip. Making sure your phone's charged, making sure you got snacks and a water bottle. Yeah. And you don't need the fire. This card reminds us that we don't need confidence to act. Maybe we act first. Maybe we move forward first. Then we get the fire. Then we get the confidence. Then we get some of this fiery momentum. You know? Stop debating. Start moving. You are ready. Okay, there is so much more out there. Anyway, we're going to do the extended reading. If you want to stick around, there's a link in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for Capricorn. Tuesdays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we are all in this together.